Hey, can I ask you something? Seriously, have you ever had that feeling, that quiet, creeping sensation that you're a ghost walking through your own life? I know I have. There were times I'd catch myself just staring off into space, my coffee getting cold in my hands, and realize I was just running a program. I was a perfectly functioning machine, ticking off the boxes of my day, my week, my entire year. I'd walk, I'd talk, I'd laugh at the right moments in conversations. But deep inside, in that place where your soul is supposed to be a roaring bonfire, there was just a profound and unnerving quiet. It was like watching a movie of my own life from a theater seat miles away. The screen was showing a person who looked like me and had my name, but it felt completely foreign. My eyes were open, sure, but was I really seeing the world? My lungs were taking in air, but was I truly, deeply alive? If any of this is striking a chord deep within you, know this. You've just stepped into a sacred space of truth. This feeling isn't a flaw, it's an awakening. Do me a favor, and let your soul be seen by hitting that like button, and subscribe so we can continue this journey of awakening together. Share this message, because someone you know is feeling this exact same ache of disconnection and thinks they're the only one. And please, let me know in the comments if you feel this in your bones. Your story matters, and I want you to hear me on this. You are not alone. You are not crazy. That feeling is a divine signal, a sacred alarm bell echoing through the corridors of your being. It's a call from your higher self, a desperate whisper from the universe itself, begging you to remember the monumental difference between just existing and being truly, vibrantly, ecstatically alive. It's wild, isn't it? How we've all been collectively hypnotized into believing this spiritual numbness is just a normal part of life. We've slapped labels on it like adulthood, maturity, being responsible. Society has sold us this grand, heartbreaking illusion that to grow up means we have to let the brilliant, wild colors of our soul fade into a sensible, respectable shade of gray. Remember that spark, that uncontainable joy and boundless curiosity we had as kids, that divine madness that saw magic in a puddle and an entire universe in a ladybug. We're told that was just a phase, some youthful naivety that has to be packed away to fit into the neat, suffocating boxes of the world. But I'm here to tell you, from the depths of my own journey, that this is the greatest lie we've ever been told. That hollow feeling in your chest is not the price of maturity. It is the staggering cost of disconnection from your own divine essence. That constant sense of just drifting, of being a passenger in your own body, isn't wisdom, it's a symptom. It's the cry of a spirit that has been slowly, methodically, and silently starved of its life force. We've been conditioned to accept a life lived on a treadmill, a predictable cycle of waking, working, consuming, and sleeping, punctuated by fleeting moments of manufactured pleasure. But there's a part of you, an eternal, unbreakable part, that knows better. It remembers what true aliveness feels like, and it's been waiting for you to remember, too. Do you remember what it was like? As a child, I mean. I remember lying in the grass for what felt like hours, the blades tickling my arms, just watching the clouds drift and morph into dragons and castles. I remember the sheer, earth-shattering miracle of a butterfly landing on my finger. In that moment, time just dissolved. There was no past haunting me, no future pulling at me with its anxieties. There was only the pure, raw fascination with the now. My entire being, every cell, was completely absorbed in that one perfect experience. That, my friend, is the feeling we're talking about. That is aliveness. That is the divine frequency of pure, unadulterated presence. And the thing is, we haven't actually lost the capacity for it. We've just buried it under a mountain of responsibilities, worries, and what-ifs. We've forgotten the path back to that sacred garden inside ourselves. We traded the infinite wonder of the present for the finite anxieties of our minds. Somewhere along this crazy, winding road of life, we learned a devastating lesson. We learned to abandon the temple of our bodies and take up permanent residence in the chaotic, noisy labyrinth of our heads. We stopped feeling life and started just thinking about it. We became commentators on our own experiences, critics of our own journey, instead of the heroes who were supposed to be living it. We started analyzing every feeling, categorizing every moment, and judging every interaction. We built up this constant internal narrator that created a barrier, a filter, between us and the raw, unfiltered reality of our own divine life, unfolding right in front of us. This is the great separation, not from some distant God in the sky, but from the direct, sensory experience of your own beautiful, messy, sacred existence. And, let's be honest, the modern world is a master architect of this spiritual prison we find ourselves in. Everything around us is meticulously designed to keep us in this half-awake, zombie-like state, constantly stimulated, but never, ever truly satisfied. Our phones scream for our attention with 1,000 notifications. Our schedules are packed to the breaking point with things we have to do. Our senses are constantly bombarded with a relentless barrage of noise, information, and other people's opinions. We are always consuming, but we are never truly nourished by what we take in. We fill every single spare moment with distractions, don't we? Scrolling through feeds, binge-watching shows, listening to podcasts, anything to avoid the silence. But why? Why are we so terrified of the quiet? I'll tell you what I discovered. We're afraid because in the stillness, we might just have to confront the profound emptiness we feel. We might have to face the truth of just how disconnected we've become. In the silence, we fear we will finally hear the silent scream of our own soul. A soul that is desperately yearning for genuine connection, for deep meaning, for the vibrant aliveness it was born to experience. So, we keep running, we keep doing, we keep preparing for a life we're not actually living. We do anything to avoid the profound, and sometimes terrifying, stillness of simply being. I lived like that for years, my friend. I was always running. I thought I was running towards something, a better job, a bigger house, the next milestone. But I eventually learned a hard truth. I wasn't running towards anything at all. I was running from myself. But now, I want you to take a deep breath with me, because here is the most beautiful and liberating truth I have ever come to know. This condition, this spiritual amnesia, is not permanent. It is not a life sentence. It's not some deep character flaw or a sign that you are fundamentally broken. It is simply the result of forgetting. It's like a powerful muscle that has just atrophied from a lifetime of disuse. Your innate capacity for profound aliveness, your divine birthright to experience the absolute fullness of your existence, has not vanished. I promise you. It is still there, dormant, waiting patiently beneath all the hardened layers of habits, patterns, beliefs, and ways of being that you've accumulated over the years. You see, most people spend their entire lives trying to fix this feeling from the outside in. I did it too. We change jobs, we end relationships, we move to new cities, we buy new things, believing with all our hearts that if we can just rearrange the furniture of our external world, we will finally feel whole and alive inside. We chase the next achievement, the next possession, the next thrilling experience, always hoping that the next thing will be the one that finally fills that unnameable void. But aliveness is not a destination you can arrive at. It's not a prize you win at the end of the game. It is a state of being that emerges from within. It is the natural, resonant frequency of your soul when it is finally unburdened by the relentless weight of the mind. So how do we get back there? Here's a thought that might just change everything for you, as it did for me. The path back to this sacred state isn't about adding more to your life. It's about subtraction. It's not about doing more. It's about being more. It's a process of gently and lovingly dismantling the invisible walls you've built around your own heart. Think about what those walls are made of. They're constructed from all the assumptions you hold about how life is supposed to be, the heavy expectations you have for what happiness should look like, and all the limiting beliefs you carry about what is truly possible for you. They are the echoes of past hurts, the whispers of societal conditioning, and the deep-seated fears of future uncertainties. For years, maybe your whole life, you've prioritized the illusion of safety over the raw truth of aliveness. You've chosen the comfort of what's known over the expansive growth that only comes from venturing into the unknown. This journey back to your soul requires something most people aren't prepared for. It requires you to question everything, and I mean everything, you've accepted as normal about your inner world. It demands that you finally challenge that relentless, tired voice in your head that insists, this is just how it island, this is all their island. It asks you to entertain the radical, beautiful possibility that you've been settling for a black and white photograph of an existence that was always meant to be lived in breathtaking, soul-stirring color. So, where do you even begin? Honestly, it's simpler and more profound than you can imagine. This transformation starts with a simple, radical shift in your attention. It begins the moment you decide to move your awareness from the constant story looping in your head and back into the living, breathing reality of your body. Let's try it right now. Start with your breath. Don't try to change it, or control it, or perfect it. Just feel it. Feel the sensation of the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then the gentle release as you exhale. Your breath is always happening now. It is your most direct, intimate, and faithful connection to this very moment. When you feel lost in the fog of your thoughts, when that feeling of disconnection creeps in, just come back to the anchor of your breath. Then, expand that awareness to your body. Really notice it. Feel the subtle sensations you usually ignore, the feeling of the ground beneath your feet, the texture of your clothes against your skin, the temperature of the air on your face. Your body is your sacred vessel, your unwavering anchor in the present. It cannot exist in the past or the future. It is always here, now, alive. As your mind spins its wild tales of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries, your body remains rooted in the only reality that ever truly exists. And then, start to notice the space between your thoughts. Most of us believe we are our thoughts. We identify with that ceaseless mental chatter. But this is the great illusion. Your thoughts are simply events happening in your awareness, like clouds passing through the vast, open sky. You, my friend, are the sky, not the fleeting clouds. And in that silent space between each thought, there is a deep well of peace, a natural, effortless aliveness that requires no management, no improvement, and no striving. And this brings me to the most devastating and beautiful paradox of all. For most of your life, you've been living in a state of constant preparation for life, instead of actually living it. Think about it. You wake up in the morning already thinking about and preparing for the day ahead. You go through the day preparing for the evening. You live through the week preparing for the weekend. You spend your year preparing for that 1-2 week vacation, that future promotion, that elusive someday, when you'll finally give yourself permission to feel happy and alive. But while you have been so busy preparing to live, your precious, beautiful, irreplaceable life has been happening, flowing past you like a river. While you were waiting for the perfect moment to arrive, thousands of ordinary, sacred moments have passed you by, completely unnoticed and unlived. You've been so focused on getting somewhere else that you've forgotten how to simply be right where you are. And I need you to hear this, right down to your soul. This is not your fault. You were taught to live this way. You were conditioned by a world that constantly tells you that satisfaction is always just around the next corner, that the present moment is just a means to an end. But aliveness, my friend, doesn't live in the future. It doesn't exist in your plans, or your goals, or your carefully constructed visions of how life should be. Aliveness exists only in this one, sacred moment in the holy pause between your last breath and your next one. This isn't a practice for living, this is living. Stop waiting for permission to feel fully alive. You already have everything you need. You always have. The question is no longer if you can become alive again. The real question is, are you willing to stop pretending that you're not? Right here, right now. The answer to that one question, my friend, will determine everything that follows. And the amazing part is, that choice is yours to make in this very moment. What a powerful thought, right? It makes you wonder what else we've been taught to believe that just isn't true. But hey, that's a whole other story for another time.